We are here for Small Business Quick Wins presented by Thryv. And this is a great episode. Okay. We're going to be talking about Google reviews and Google business profiles. And usually, when you have a podcast episode about this, you have somebody who thinks they're a specialist and they're from some random little agency or consultancy and they're telling you whatever. But no, we have Google here. We actually have Google. That's exciting. Not all of Google, but we have an amazing human being from Google. Who do we have? We have Lisa Landsman, who handles global business development for Google. She's been there for a while, so she knows it all. And we're going to dig into all this. Lisa, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
All right, before we get into all this, I'm curious about something. When you are like out with friends or out to dinner and whatever, and people are like, oh, you work for Google, do they just hit you up, be like, hey, can you get my company's website to be ranked higher? Or hey, I can't find myself here. Can you blah, blah, blah? Do you get hit up all the time because you work at Google?
All the time. So I get questions like that, like I'm having trouble with X, Y, or Z, but I also get hit up for, oh, my daughter's graduating college. Do you think you could submit the resume? So it's hard because I always want to help people with everything, which is sort of my downfall. I wish I had eternal bandwidth to go and do all of these things for people because I feel for what they're going through, maybe less about the job search, although I do help mentor folks. But when people are having trouble with their business, I want to dive in and help them.
Well, so that's perfect segue here because I am sure when people get reviews for their small business, because a lot of small business owners and marketers are listening to this, they get reviews. Sometimes those reviews are not great,
Yeah.
right? And so they don't know what to do. They don't know, do I call 1-800 Google? Do I jump up and down? Can I go on a form? So let's jump right into it. I got my company, I got a bad review, I screwed up. What can I do? Can I do anything?
First of all, don't panic. It happens to everyone, right? People are having
Oh,
a bad day. You're having a bad day. Your customer's having a bad day. It's okay. It's the reality. I think reviews are helpful, even if they're negative, just to understand perceptions and perspectives. I think what's really important for business owners is please respond to them. Respond to all reviews, whether they're positive or negative. You're building your brand, you're building your business reputation. And so it's important for you to get into that conversation, even if it's not one that you love, and talk about that, or feel free to ask them to take it offline. So I would say that's the first thing. Be really thoughtful and make sure that you're responding because you're building trust. So if I'm going and looking for an HVAC business and I need someone and I see some reviews and I see one that's negative, but I see how gracious and wonderful that business owner was, I'm really appreciative and I might choose them based on that. So don't think, first of all, that bad reviews are going to ruin your business, but what can you do about them? So there is a way. Well, let me start by saying Google does not get in the middle of like you and your customer, right? We can't debate the facts of what happened. It is not up to us to decide that. So we're not going to get in the middle of a dispute. But if you feel like this review has violated some policies in some way, there's a whole bunch of policies and we can read them and happy to share the link with you. Then you can go in and flag the review for us to take down. So this is not a hard process to do. You can go right into your business profile. So you can do that through Maps. There's like a little business icon on the bottom right. You can go in and find the review section, and you can click on the little three dots and you can go in and flag the specific review. And then you will just talk about, why are you flagging this review? There's nowhere for you to actually write it down, but you could say that it's violating policies. So that's the first thing you can do if you really believe that it's violating Google's policies, or it's spam or there's profanity or something like that. So what happens then, once you submit the review for approval to take down, there's a place that you can go called the reviews management tool. So sometimes it's hard to find. You can literally just go to Google and search for it. Google Help Center Business Profile Reviews Management Tool. And there you can either submit a new flag or you can look at the status of the existing flag. And so this you'll be able to see approved, denied, or you can go in if it was denied and file an appeal from there. That was a lot of information. We
No,
follow
that
me?
was super, super valuable. All right. I want to
Awesome.
dispel a myth about getting a negative review removed. Can I pay Google and have a review removed?
Absolutely not. That ruins everyone's credibility.
Right.
And I wish you could call 1-800 Google. Think about there's what 400 million small businesses globally or businesses globally. There's a lot of scale in the platform. And so we try and serve everyone the best that we can. But we don't have a 1-800 number to do that. And absolutely not, you can't pay. And by the way, for those of you who are soliciting reviews, which is a really smart thing to do, ask customers who are happy with your service to provide a review. You cannot pay them or incentivize them either. That's
Oh,
against
okay.
policies.
That's good.
Mhm.
That's good clarification. Oh, along
Yeah.
those lines, I'm curious. If I spend money on there's a myth, I think, hopefully. If I spend money on Google Ads, like I'm spending a couple $1,000 on Google Ads for my business, they're going to prioritize removing bad
Mhm.
reviews for me if I reach out because I'm a paying customer. Is that in any way true?
It is not true. And I think it's frustrating for some folks, right? We're paying
Sure.
you all this money, and this could be small businesses or big, large enterprise businesses. We're paying you all this money. We very much keep it separated, church and state. This organic search experience and these reviews, the credibility is really, really important, right? If you know that there's weird things happening behind the scenes, you don't trust us, you don't trust the
Right.
business. So we need to make sure that we remain neutral on all of that.
I didn't know we were going to do a myth busting, but I got one more myth I
Love
want
it.
you to bust. I mean, so I'm curious if I get some negative reviews, is that going to hurt my SEO? Is that going to hurt my organic showing up in search queries because I got a couple bad reviews? Do you marry the two together?
I don't have an answer to that
Okay.
that I can share, partially because I don't know, right?
Okay.
We don't get this kind of
Okay.
information on that. But again, I would say continue to solicit reviews, make sure you're getting a lot of reviews. So, for example, too, from a user perspective, if I go on and I'm looking and let's say you have 100 reviews for your business, and there's a couple that are really bad, but they're so inconsistent with the rest of what we're seeing. There's a lot of themes that you can sort of derive. And we just came out with, I think within the last month or so, AI review summaries. And so what we're trying to do as Google is sort of take those themes and help users understand what should they know about the business, the good and the bad. So oftentimes, if you look at reviews like I do, which I'm a little bit obsessive about it as a customer, you can tell. I mean, kind of the reality of the business.
So, okay, moving past the reviews for a second, there's 2 billion people that connect with small businesses on Google every single month. That's what I read, right?
Yeah,
And it's all about your Google business profile. And so that's where the reviews kind of all live. And
yeah.
if I have my business profile, is it worth it to put up pictures or to write more detail in there, or do I just kind of just the basics is fine? Is there something I should be doing to give myself a better shot of getting even more views or more business or more whatever?
Yes, and this is part of my job is to go and evangelize the importance of this Google Business Profile. This is your digital storefront, right? This is your home on Google and on search. So the more that you go in as a business and fill out this information, I mean, it's your basics, right? So your website, your address, your phone number. You would not believe how often we get 404 links on
Oh, wow.
websites or incorrect phone numbers. Hours is another really big one. I cannot tell you how many times, for example, I want to go get my nails done on a holiday and all these businesses say they're open and then they're not open when I
Uh,
go and drive to them. Super frustrating. Also, I would say yes to pictures and descriptions and videos. One of the things I talk a lot about is like, if your business profile could talk, what story would it tell? What do you want people to know about your business? And this is an opportunity for you to communicate the vibe. So for example, if I'm looking for a restaurant, I want to know what should I wear, right? And I can see that through pictures. What kind of space? Is there a patio? Is this good for groups? Is it good for date night? Like what am I going to see, feel, understand when I go in there? Now, if you're an insurance agent or you're a doctor, do you need a lot of pictures? Not necessarily, but I want to see what you look like, right? A
yeah.
friend of mine just started his own concierge. He's a doctor. He just started his own concierge practice. And when you pull up his profile and you see his smiling face, you're like, okay, this is somebody I trust. And so you don't have to be a restaurant or a hotel to worry about that. But I would say fill out as much within your Google business profile as you possibly can. The other recommendation would be to add your social links. So, if you are posting on Instagram and Facebook and X and the other platforms, what we're doing now, if you have that profile linked in your Google business profile, we're pulling in your posts and they're showing up on search. So, like, take advantage of all these things because it will help with your discoverability.
I think this is so valuable because I think people have it backwards. They'll spend all this time working on their website, which people don't even go to websites anymore, and they don't pay attention to their Google profile, business profile, which is really it really is kind of your website. I mean, it's more important
Yeah.
in some ways than your website, right?
Yeah. I mean, it really is, especially when it comes to search results. To your point, that 2 billion customer connections every single month, that came from our Google Economic Impact Report that we put out every year. And this is 18 million US businesses that had those connections. And the ones who did a really good job with their profile and they put their ordering buttons or their appointment booking buttons and all those things on here, like the better chance they have to drive business.
That is so cool. That is so spot on. All right, speaking of spot on, there's a webinar coming up that you're a part of that I want to
Yeah.
let everybody know about. So there's a webinar that Google and Thryv are doing together. It is the Google Business Profile. Be ready when customers search. It's going to be February 19th. It's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern. It is free. Okay. And if you want to register for this thing, all you got to do is go to Thryv, THRYV.biz/G GBP, which stands for Google Business Profile. Thryv.biz/GBP. It's going to be amazing. Lisa's going to sing show tunes. It's going to be wild. Is that true, by the way? Are you going to be singing any songs during this webinar?
If I did, I think everybody would immediately hang up. So I'm going to spare everybody from my horrible voice, but I will be sharing a lot more detail from what we just talked about, all kinds of best practices.
Amazing. And if Lisa ever does start a show tune business, she will have a Google business profile and there'll be amazing reviews on it. I have no doubt. Lisa, thank you for being here. We're going to put everything in the show notes. Everybody sign up for the webinar. Lisa, you are great. Stay warm in Chicago.
Thank you so much. Take care,
Bye bye.
everyone.